Hello everyone, more FACEIT coverage coming to you, this time EMEA round 9 between Celtas and Sovereigns. Two teams now we've probably seen less of, especially Celtas, a pretty new team in terms of ones we've covered before. But Celtas are in the dogfight for 8th spot, and Sovereigns are trying to hang on to their higher standing position already. So both of these teams are going to be in that battle for the rest of the top 8. We kind of have the top 5 teams really securing their spot already on 8 wins each. But Celtas, Sovereigns, New Age, R8, these sort of teams all competing it out for those final 3 spots in the playoff bracket. So we're going to take a look at Celtas versus Sovereigns today. Now, Sovereigns are probably a team you're maybe more familiar with. They've got like Dan, Shax, Fi, Danid, Dollar, a lot of previous Overwatch League and Overwatch Contenders players. Meanwhile, Celtas are a team you may be a little bit less familiar with. If you've watched some of my stream before on Twitch, you've maybe heard of a legend of Kai41. Kai41 is obviously on Celtas, so we'll see if we can work some more magic today. But we can kind of just get into the series here. I can talk you through the bans quickly. I can't show you on screen just because we're watching a past game. It'll be a bit of a spoiler. So Celtas banned Samoa, Sovereigns banned Busan. Nepal was the pick by Celtas, and then Sovereigns banned Midtown, Celtas banned Iconworld, and Parisa was the pick from Sovereigns there. So everything's sort of going in line with what the teams normally pick so far. I don't think too many surprises. And then we get Celtas banning Shabali, Sovereigns banning Rialto, and Route 66 will be picked by Celtas. Which is maybe not too far out of their wheelhouse either. Generally speaking, everyone's bans kind of went the way we mostly expected, and maybe we didn't expect the Rialto ban. Normally Sovereigns ban Junkertown, but a pretty dive-heavy flavour of maps here with Parisa and Route 66 going to be our second and third map. So we'll jump straight into Nepal for now. I'll take you all with me in game. We've got Celtas on our left, and we have Sovereigns on the right. And interestingly enough, this is quite a big roster that actually... is actually available for Sovereigns. And they're going to have Shax, they're going to have Danid, they're going to have Fi. And they're actually opting... Normally it's Shax and Fi we see in some kind of hit scan plus tracer situation, but it's actually going to be Danid in for this one. Let me just make sure my game volume is appropriate. If it will let me change it. Hold on. Oh, no. I fluffed it. Let's crank it. There we go. All right, and crank it and carrying on. So it's gonna be Doom. Obviously, Danid on tank. Danid on tank. So we'll see how they choose to play the Doomfist. Obviously, a lot of risk of boops off, stuff like this, environmental kills. The rest of Celta's just gonna be grouping up with Kai41 holding his left-hand side. They have kind of overloaded it, and Danid's going to go for him now as well, and Kai41 is exposed. You see that? They just try and launch from... Danid launches himself across the map. They get the overload onto Kai, and now they'll try and take down the core of them here. Plowing forward, Lamp has to be used now by Podnova. They'll be forced back. Shax has the angle. Skytor has taken so much damage. Shax will get booped away. Skytor is just about lived. And they're now to regroup as 5. Kai41 is back with him, but Danid is going behind as well. Kai41's going to run into him. We can see the action through the window. And Danid's going to get focused down, and now a chance to walk back across point now for Celtas. Slow onto the Ash, forcing Fi out as well. They need to get the cap going, so Kai41's going to move for that now, and just going to help him deal with Shax too. And they've managed to stabilize, actually. Dynamite and back in. Danid has big punch looking for it. Connects onto Angie solo. Podnova has to lab. Meteor Strike coming behind on Zydra. The beat will keep everyone safe for now, but Danid is still harassing this backline. They cannot clear him. Shax is with him as well. They're trying to find the kill. Zydra's getting full pocket, but will eventually fall. Dynamite coming in now as well. Podnova has dealt with Danid. And can they hang on to a point here? Kai41 and going to be joining them, and they actually have. Thank you, D7, for the tier 1. And somehow, Podnova and Ange, they just survived everything there. They were just able to hold on to literally... They lost Zydra, but they kept themselves alive. And they managed to stabilize. Now they're still in control of point, ticking slightly further up. Podnova has the window. It's going to be a Bob to force point. They can window and just kill this Bob, though. Bob should get shredded. Big punch comes in, though, so Podnova falls while he's dealing with that Bob. Now Danid comes again, and oh my god, Danid is getting outrageous value. Free for Danid. And an easy retake in the end. Danid just lining up punch after punch after punch after punch. And Celtas just taking it in the face. They fall down here. And they do come back with Overclock and Annihilation. It looks like they're considering an early engage on this choke here, Sovereigns. A chance to go with the beat. A chance to try and just kill this Overclock if they commit with it. But they've lost Shax. That's going to weaken their dive. Danid's going to miss the punch as well. Now they have to try and get out. Danid wants big punch. They have to beat, but it's more of a defensive beat than an aggressive beat. So Skytor's going to keep them all at bay with this Annihilation. Now they walk forward. Rail connects onto Dollar. They're ignoring Danid. They're just going to kill the backline. Skytor wants to keep going. Pushes them all the way out. They'll get the flip. And Celta's back in control of the point. And they're looking for all the stagger kills here if they can get them. Kai41 looking for more. Will be forced all the way out. And a chance for Celtas to hold on to point here as we get Fi swapping on to Cass, actually. And Buddy's going to go Anna with this, too. So now a nade factor to worry about for Celtas. Obviously, Ram isn't great at blocking nade. So a big chance to connect a lot of needs for Buddy. They'll hold on to the high ground, and Zydra has the overclock to start. But has to try and live, but Nade's going to connect onto Podnova. Meteor Strike comes through. Podnova jumps over that one, and Zydra's going to try and finish him off, but Danid is not done with the backline yet. Zydra's still all over him. Beat to keep Zydra alive. Danid's going to try and run. He's super low. Surely can't get out. Going to try and jump out. Zydra takes him out of the air, and now they're in full control, and this touch is really awkward. Shax is going to be able to get first touch. He has Pulse Bomb as well, but he needs a lot of help here. He triggers the overtime. He can go for one more now. Shax's going to get on point. Kai and Zydra trying to make that really hard for him. Shax going deep now. Shax has recalled. The next touch is harder, but Danid is back. Ult's available soon. Shax has one, but Zydra finds the opening pick. Danid's going to try and reset on the Mega here. Again, Shax is trying to keep point contested, but Shax needs so much help. He goes down. He's been focused down by Ange and Kai. Anyone else got the touch? Danid needs to make a move for it, but he can't. And Celtas actually take the first round. Danid did a lot. Some of these fights, brutal. But I have to say, Podnova and Ange actually did a really good job. Really good job weathering the storm. It was Zydra got slapped in the face a few times, it's fair to say. But in general, I think the backline of Celtas actually did very well against the Doomfist there. Obviously, with Danid in the lineup, it's a little bit of a giveaway. It's a little bit of a giveaway. What Sovereigns are going to play. So they're going to keep playing Doom. Looks like Buddy will be starting on Diana again.
5, 4, 3, 2.
This will be a more straightforward map. Expect a high ground rollout here from Sovereigns. They'll get their Anna parked on this high ground. Dollar will be on Brig as well. And they'll just go for as many nade cycles as they can. We can take a look at old Buddy. See if he can connect his first nade. Because obviously the ults are very dangerous here for the side of Sovereigns. But until then, they're going to have to rely on some nade timings or a bit of Danid with 2D's magic. Slow and steady. Punch out onto Ange. By walking forward now. Danid's going to need help getting out of this one. Buddy has dropped now. Has to use the nade defensively just to keep Danid up. Loses line of sight with him for a second. Is getting tagged up here. Danid needs more and more help. Struggling to get line of sight here, but just about gets it. Danid will stabilize, and Shax has taken down Ange in the background. This is happening, so now Danid can go again. Buddy and Dollar walking forward, advancing. Nade onto the Ramatra here. Does it connect? But the damage has been done. They'll lose Fi. But Danid wants more. Not done with this Ramatra yet. Ange is going to try and get his buddy out of there, but no luck for Skytor. They'll have to take the respawn. And it will be a Kiri swap here, actually. It will be a Kiri swap. Nano nearly available. Meteor Strike nearly available. So this really is a cue for Danid to have a chance to go more aggressive. And Skytor's actually going to swap onto Winston. So we're just going to dive mirror now. Now, even though it's a dive mirror, generally if you have a Kiri Lucio, you actually want your Kiri Lucio and Winston all quite close together. You almost want to brawl this. Use for bubble advantage. Danid won't connect the first punch, but now he has the big punch. We'll get hindered and we'll just get caught. A chance to go denied by Zydra. They'll come onto point, and Nano Fi is going to be walking forward. He's plowing through. He's dropped the high noon. He's got Zydra. The bubble not quite in time. They're still going to walk forward, but Kai41 has decimated the backline. And the retake on dive is good. They beat him on brawl. Now they'll take him in the dive mirror. And really, Zydra did all the big work with that magnetic grenade. Just catches Danid before anything happens. But as a result, an easy retake from there. Now Bap Brig coming out. So an interesting comp now, Bap Brig Doom. Not something we've seen all that often. You see them trying to come out with quite a split push here. They have to lamp early. Kyle catch Fi. Surely seemed a little bit too easy there for Celtas on this defense. Now Skytor's going to get above them, and they're going to have to reset here. Forced all the way back. As we'll get Celtas taking the lead in terms of control percentage. Both support ops coming back yet, and this is a really difficult one for Sovereigns to survive. You can see as well, look at Ange coming over the top. They don't know. Buddy's off the edge. Big boot from Ange. Skytor has for Primal if he gets in trouble. Ange is going to go for a boot behind as well. Here they all come. Beat to keep going. Don't know if they needed a beat there, honestly. They've used a lot here. They need to get the kills, actually. Skytor's going to keep going. Can't find any more kills. The lamp from downtown from Buddy. Good lamp, actually. Fair play, Buddy. They didn't need it, but hell of a lamp. They still have a Kitsune rush here. They maybe over-invested into that a little bit, but still desperately short on ults for Sovereigns as they try and go forward. And it's a Kitsune rush push. Fire's going to get run over. Behind him to keep going. Danny's going to try and reset. They have to try and either die quickly or get out. Shax is going to look for a desperate trade. But no doing. Pulse Bomb. Oh, it doesn't catch anyone either. They have Window coming back. They have High Noon soon, but the touch is going to be really hard here for Sovereigns. Shax is going to come down main. Obviously, Danny can help with it as well. Danny's done the rollout from the skybox. We'll use both cooldowns to land that one. We'll be able to block himself out. Now a punch back in, looking for the connect. Connects on Zydra. Sends him further back. The rest of Sovereigns will move forward now, but Skytor, he tries to go through the window, but he gets caught. Ange and Kai41 now on point, but they're very split from the rest of their team. Zydra's trying to peek back up, but Shax finds the kill. Now they can turn their attention to Zydra. They'll deal with this. Composed in the end to deal with those threats, and maybe that beat in the fight before last that Ange used, maybe he wishes he had that one back, because that Primal, the Kitsune Rush for beat, these are the big ults to deal with in this comp, to run over that Bat Brig. Now they've nearly got Primal back again, that'll be the next big one to go with. But Fire's going to have the High Noon, can make this Primal pretty much a non-issue. They're going to try and clear Shax out first. Danid hits for punch. They force the defensive bubble out here, so have to wait for that next cooldown before Skytor can make his move. Danid will be happy to keep trading his cooldowns. Punches back Zydra again. Now the bubble onto Danid, but he gets out of that one. And now they can walk back. High Noon's actually going to be used here. They're all going to try and get out, and the disengage is good from Celtas. A chance to walk back. Primal nearly available. Here comes Skytor again. It's going to be last fight. Skytor's going to keep going with Primal and beat. They're all over him. Fire's going to get juggled towards the coast. Dollar's trying to intercept with Rally. Kai's found the Pulse Bomb kill. And Skytor's forced Fire off the map. But Rally not enough to save him. And still harassing him. And just been on top of everything with Skytor here. The dynamic duo at the front. And they'll finish him off. Danid can get maybe one more touch with Meteor Strike. He's actually going to get a kill with it. But he doesn't get the touch. Doesn't get the touch, but gets the kill. And it'll be a fight win. Well, a fight win and a map win for Celtas, and maybe not actually what we expected there, honestly. We'll move on to Parisio. Danid is still in, so we expect a dive mirror on this map. Obviously, they're going to be playing with the Doom here, and the nature is with Danid in, it's going to kind of have to be Doom. And Sovereigns did want this matchup. So we'll see if they have something. Generally speaking, Winston's always preferred in a lot of these dive matchups because the bubble value is so good.
5, 4, 3,
But obviously, Dan is really good at Doom. And sometimes, if you're just good enough at a hero, it just works anyway. You don't need the theory and the logic. You just need the talent. Starting on the defense here, Danid trying to intercept Ange on the high ground. Makes him think twice about his wall rides. Coming underneath, they are on Kiri Lucio versus the Ana Brig here. So they can put a lot of pressure onto this Ana Brig backline if they can find the timing to 5-man dive. Magnetic Grenade has been used. Skytor's going to come in for a dive. Bubble swim off, the nade comes out here. Danid's looking for the counter dive. Skytor will live though. And they get a little bit of space here, Celtas. Now they can walk forward. And the backline's going to have to drop out here from Sovereigns. Go to the far back high ground. Get themselves all stacked up on that. Danid looking for an opportunity. Playing on the roofs as Skytor comes in. Whip shot misses from Dollar, so Skytor's all over it. They have to back up. Oh, Dollar's so low. The whip shot ends up costing him. And now all of the map is Celtas to play with. Skytor can just keep cycling cooldowns onto this high ground, make it so hard for him to move. Pressure onto Danid now. They're going to try and come through the low ground, but again, Skytor can bubble this if they get too close. We'll bubble it now. Nano onto Danid, though. Shax is with him. Zydra does get the Suzu, but they're still bearing down on him. Danid eventually finishes it behind him from the other side. Skytor and the supports got out safely, but they're now in a 3v5 situation. They'll just trade what ult charge they can. And the repush is good in the end. It costs them a nano, it costs them a high noon. But they get it out. They get it out, and Danid and Shax really able to just force the kill through on Zydra there. Through roll, through the Suzu, through everything. But now, the difficult situation for Sovereigns is how do they deal with this beat? This Kitsune Rush is primal. There's a lot of ults. They don't quite have Rally yet. They don't quite have Pulse yet. They maybe need Danid and Shax just to find something while this goes on. They're backing up onto the low ground. Kitsune Rush to keep going. Danid. Oh, wow. Podnova just deletes everyone in front of him. If you can ever get that Kitsune Rush with Anna Brig are standing on top of it, now Anna Brig is going to evaporate quickly. And that's exactly what they get there. And Podnova with a 3k to seal first point. Anna Brig a little bit better on second because you've got more of these high grounds, kind of exactly where Dollar and Buddy are playing now to play with. Danid will try and keep everyone contained in this room for now. Meanwhile, for Celtas, Kai41 is just moving point. Happy to keep this one trucking. As Celtas look for their next big ult push with a primal or beat. Danid's getting quite aggressive and they've come quite close here. Bubble on. They want to rally push actually. Dollar's going to try and force his way out. They've got beat coming back. So now a backstep for the side of Sovereigns. They've lost Shax on the flank, but they're still going forward. Skytor's above them. They're going to try and clear Skytor. They have to deal with this Primal, though. Primal comes through. They've tried to separate. Fire's getting juggled all the way in. He's on the high ground, though. Buddy is with him. Hits for sleep as well. Podnova will pocket Skytor through it. But they've lost more people. Zydra's just swung up. He's killed a couple. And now they can start bearing down on point. And just all over this Anna. But Danid is nano. Danid's found two. He should be able to delete this Winston as well. Skytor's going to try and run for the Mega. Does get the Mega, actually. Maybe that's enough to turn it. Danid has to be careful. Defensive nade from Buddy keeps everyone up. Sleep again onto Skytor. Will be napping. High noon to try and survive this Doom. They trade it, but Danid goes down. Tank advantage now for Celtas coming back. A chance to ramp this up. They have to be careful not to get staggered out here. The backline from Sovereigns needs to live, but Fire's walking up. Fire might have gone too far. He needs pocketing out, but Kitsune Rush. It pulls everyone forward. They're all so low. Defensive nade onto Dollar. Desperately trying to keep him alive, but Buddy can't. They've lost the backline. Now, Buddy's been juggled in as well. And it's all just over. I feel like just too aggressive from Fire at the end there. They needed to reset and go for the final fight in this cap area now, but they end up getting staggered out, and now the touch is going to be very tricky. Shax will get the first one. They're going to try and swing with High Noon. It's bubbled off for now, and Shax's pulse bomb will miss. No recall for Shax now. Danid needs to take over touch responsibilities. Shax will die. Skytor's still all over the back line. Danid's going to try and trade it, but they've just got complete map control. They're focusing them down one after the other. And Celtas are rolling right now. It feels like Buddy's hit a fair number of his cooldowns, but Dollar and Fire seem to be punished by all of these support ults. And those are the trickiest timings for this Anna Brig composition to survive. The Kitsune Rush for beat, those kind of pushes. But for their comp to work, they need to survive them. Skytor with a very defensive bubble here. Celtas just moving payload. Zydra's going to get knocked off the high ground. Danid and Shax trying to force something to work on his dive, but no good. They catch Shax for it as well. Meteor Strike, they beat for it in response. Danid will just get out of that one, and now they want to try and cheat the beat, but no. Fi still gets caught. Danid's going to try and punch in Skytor, misses though. The nade buys crucial space for this Sovereign's backline to get out. And they'll have one more chance to come back, and Fi's hit the Venture button, Trace a Venture. But Kitsune Rush and Primal, these Kitsune Rushes have been lethal so far from Podnova. And we see Skytor go in again. They're also low, and Kai's just going to hit the Pulse Bomb behind him, makes him D-peak, sets up an easy stick. Now they're going to try and trade with this Doomfist, but Podnova looked classy so far on the Kiriko. And puts his team in a hell of a position. And remember, Celtas won map 1. So a win here would just seal the series. The touch is going to be a desperate one. Fire's back on Genji. Here they come. Suzu defensively. Kitsune Rush over top now. Fire will get deleted for that one. Now they turn their attention to Danid. Desperately trying to block, but Kai's behind. Shax can get one more touch, maybe one more again. He's low, and he'll go down. And 1 minute 49 seconds, not too bad at all from the side of Celtas.
Score
And the problem with the Doomfist is
to 3. Switching.
you kind of need to... You need to pop off, I think. With the Winston, you can play... You can pop off, obviously, on Winston too, but you can also just play a very sensible and intelligent game. You can have good bubbles, you can have good timings, all of this. With the Doom, you sort of need to find a lot of plays, and I think especially against something like a Kiri Lucio, it can be tricky. So many evasive cooldowns. Likewise, obviously, the Magnetic Grenade means there's such a high punish window, and the nature of having someone like Danid come into the roster is always going to open them up to these type of things. Because as much as Danid's very good at Doomfist, and he'll win you a load of fights. We saw that on the pool. Some of these fights were just all Danid hitting punch after punch, connecting with good target after good target. He is kind of locked into that Doomfist, so if you can just swap to something maybe like the Cast, that can punish it a lot, or you can play a style of, like, say, Winston, where you can just bubble off the Doom quite a lot and try and play through him. It can be really counterable. And I think that's some of the problems Sovereigns are running into here. But as such, also with Danadin, they may be sort of locked into this. Obviously, they could go Kiri Lucio themselves. It felt like a lot of the problem they had was that backline living in these situations.
1.
We'll see how they go here, as Shax is going to go for a grapple shot. There's a bubble, though. The bubble takes a bullet, and Shax will go onto Tracer. And Fi's just found the opening pick onto Ange. Alright, now's a way to start a fight. They can now walk in. Skytor's going to concede for space, as is the rest of Celtas. One bubble on the choke to get what ult charge he can. But Danid and Shax keen to keep the aggression coming, look for their next dive opportunity. Danid's going to come in, half HP. Threatens the punch and forces the recall out of Kai. Skytor has the bubble defensively again. Danid's turning for it. They actually lost Shax in all of that. Danid's going to go for big punch. Looking for the connect here. We'll just regroup with team. Skytor with another bubble. And you see the same thing. Skytor walking forward. The rest of his team just trying to brawl in that bubble with him. They all avoid the punch as well. And they'll punish Danid for it as well. Suzu and TPU, so Pod over low on cooldowns. But with that kill on Danid, they will be okay. Now they're looking for the stagger kills. Dollar's going to get Boot back in. Tries to bash back to the high ground. But he's all alone behind. And again, maybe a little bit slow to make their decision, Sovereigns, on whether they are getting out of a fight. I mean, you lost to your Doomfist. You're going to have to concede for space. You lost your Tracer, you're going to have to concede for space. Celtas take the punish, though. They're still there. Buddy's getting close to this Nano. Expect that to go onto one man. And his name is Danid. They're still going to try and get in this first part of the map for free first. Going to threaten the punches. Trying to pressure onto Ange here. Ange is just playing top on his walls. 91% for Buddy. And oh, it's a boop in. And just found the boop in. Buddy is all the way in. Has to nade himself defensively. Danid's going to try and peel for him. Danid desperate to get big punch. Won't be able to get it. Tries to come out. Does get the nano in the end. Goes over Ange's head though. And now we can't find anything. Forced to use their ultimates in the panic. I don't think we got a clear view of it, but Ange was doing like a roll out here. Boops Buddy in. Forces this rally. Forces this nano. Forces the nade. Forces everything to be used in a bit of a panic from Sovereigns. An undoubtable boop of the day from Ange. Because not only now has his team won that fight, Sovereigns used the whole bank. They used the whole bank. Now the pulse bomb will miss, and they do lose Kai for it. They still have their support ults to bail them out here, but might have to use quite heavily. The dive comes in now. Kitsune Rush will be used. A high noon on the low ground as well. Dollar's super low for it. The beat comes through to save them too. And they should be able to stabilize off the back of this, but they've had to use both support ults. They'll clean up the kills. But that pick on Kai really ramps up the pressure on the rest of the Celtas team. And now all of a sudden we're looking at a full neutral with 1 minute 10 seconds left on the clock. Buy now on the Genji, so very much aggression, the name of the game from this composition from Sovereigns. They'll try and clear Skytor out first. They'll force him back towards point. Danid now looking for his opportunity. Expects Zydra to be the primary target. Ange playing in the skybox again. Gives Podnova a nice exit TP if he needs it. Fi's coming over top now, looking for the dash. Gets the dash through. Deflect. Oh, they shoot the deflect. Podnova will die for it. Fi gets his one. Skytor's tried to bubble back defensively, but now they're very split. They're very low on heals here, Celtas, and Shax is barreling down on this Winston. He'll finish off Skytor. Come back to the fight, and should be straightforward from here. Oh, Kai's going to take Shax with him, but that's all they'll get, and they should still be good for the first cap here. Considering a touch actually here is Kai41. He's going to get the first one. Needs a little bit more help. Skytor's going to come through. Has the Primal to keep this going here. Buddy has Kitsune Rush. Doesn't want to have to use it if he doesn't have to. Will feel the need to now. Pressure onto Skytor. Skytor will drop this Primal. Still stalling it out, but has to stay anchored to point. And that means he's playing on his Kitsune Rush, which means he's taking so much damage. Another punch to finish him off. An optimistic recontest. I really would have liked Celtas to go for that recontest, but not commit Primal. Just see if they can get out one of the support ults or something. I think that would have been maybe the optimal version of the play. Ultimately, trading Primal for Kitsune Rush, you're not going to be crying yourself to sleep over that one. It's okay. Now we get a situation where it is support ult advantage for Celtas and a big chance to stabilize. 2 minutes to hold on to this second point. Dan is going to try and make his way in. Just fishing for opportunities when he comes flying in. Kai wants to pressure him out, take him off the high ground. Does have that pulse bomb to threaten as well. And now the dive onto Buddy. Defensive beat comes out here. Fi's trying to chase him down. Oh my god, Ange goes for the beat. So scary with the Genji bearing down on him, but he does get it here. Dan is going to keep going for the back line. Will drop a Meteor Strike here. Chooses to be aggressive with it. Will reset now. Both teams have traded resources and cooldowns and ults, and everyone survived. Punch off the high ground now forces Zydra to the low ground. Bubble on Danid. And Zydra wants to make his way through, but Fi's bearing down on him, coming through the flank, coming through the house. Zydra's trying to kite away. Podnova is pocketing. Skytor's trying to bubble off the backline to help keep Zydra alive, but Zydra's going to take that pulse bomb. Shax will finish him off. Now a chance to keep going. Player advantage. Finally the pick. Podnova is in super deep as well. Has to Suzu. Desperate for a TP out. Does he have it? No. Oh no, they might have sagged this one out horrifically. The cap is open. The cap is there. Skytor will not have Primal. And they get the cap and they take us to third point. And the ult advantage is going to shift over to the side of Sovereigns as well. Danid is in quite deep here. Fi's coming to join him. Danid's just too far. They Kitsune Rush to try and save him. Fi manages to trade one. They need kills out of this quickly without their Doomfist there, but Skytor's got the Primal, and that's going to stop them getting any more kills. They have to try and get out, but Dollar's going to get caught. Buddy's the next one. And Danid goes too far. A mistake. Not just an individual mistake, but a mistake that ends up becoming a macro mistake as they waste the Kitsune Rush there. They do catch Kai41 on the other end, so they do get a bit of a free retake here. Beaten Blade is available. Ange and Podnova desperate for these support ults. Need them to do a help deal with this Blade. And just back now, and they've just caught Dollar for perfect time for a random pick. And now they can walk forward, try and get something else out. Fi wants to go, actually. Suzu used defensively. Buddy went in to help Fi. They committed all in with this Blade, and they're getting the value for it. 2 kills. And it has to be a die on point situation for Celtas. They don't expect him to go aggressive after they lose Dollar like that, but Fi calls their bluff. Buddy Suzu's in and TP's. Or TP's in and Suzu's. Fi will get the cleanup kills, and suddenly beat. Still available for Dollar on this one. But again, both support ults coming back. As long as these support ults can get off, Celtas should be able to stabilize here as we go into the final 45 seconds. Bubble behind Danid as well. Lots of pressure onto him. Beat as well. Danid does have the Meteor Strike to keep himself alive. Oh, the boop onto Dollar makes the beat a little bit scary, but Dollar still gets it off. Meteor Strike lands, and they try and swarm over the backline here. Pulse Bomb's good again from Shax. They trade 1 for 1. Trades will be enough for the defenders here, but Shax is cleaning everyone up on point. Skytor has 1 more bubble. Danid is all over him. Shax is all over him. They need the kills here. 1 more punch in. Danid is low. Skytor gets the Primal off. This will buy so much time. He's able to juggle Danid in. There's only 15 seconds left. Fi's coming back on Sombra. Shax is going to die on point. They need a quick reset here, actually. They can't afford for Buddy to go down. But Ange is on him. They can't afford to lose Buddy. I mean, they can't afford to lose Ange. Where's Ange going? Where's Ange going? No, he's going to get punished. Miscommunication by how much they were chasing, and now a Kitsune rush on point. They trade 1 for 1-2. Still, Skytor's going to have to try and reset onto this high ground. They need a touch soon. High Noon comes out. Skytor will be anchoring point. Dollar is low, but Skytor needs a lot of help. Shax on him again. Oh, they trade Shax, though. Danid will trade for it as well. They need another touch. Can anyone touch? No! They somehow, some way, Celtas have dog-fought their way out of that one. Important kills when they need it the most. Now, mistake from Ange nearly cost them. Really opened up an opportunity. Really opened up an opportunity to come back in there. And 2-0, just like that. Just like that, a 2-0. Maybe not the result we expected at all, honestly. I thought Sovereigns, after their good start, would be favoured in this matchup. We can take a little look at the scoreboard. Map number 1 was obviously, that was back on Nepal. We can see, actually, Ange went 21-1. 21-1, not too bad at all. We see Fi struggling to live the most on this one. In general, pretty good. This is obviously, even when Daniel was getting a lot of value, it's actually quite impressive that someone like Podnova only has 3 deaths in this. Then as we get on to Pariso, maybe it starts to get a little bit more one-sided here. We see, again, lots of, a high number of deaths, especially for the backline in here. Dollar and Fi, or mostly Dollar and Fi getting caught a lot, getting overwhelmed by no support ults. We see Kai 41, our main man going 37 and 7. Skytor going 41 and 6. And overall, actually, very impressive performance from Celtas. It felt pretty complete. It didn't feel like... Obviously, they clutched out a few of these fights for sure, right? I won't lie to you. But it felt like they were really organised in how they play. They had a clear way they wanted to hold. They had clear ways they were trying to use Valkyrie and Lucio as best as possible to peel for each other and set up situations. They were being aggressive with the support ults where they could be, and they were finding consistent value with no support ults. Honestly, for me, player of the match, I actually thought Podnova had a really good series. I think there was a lot of good performances on Celtas. I think and Skytor, solid. Kai had a few really nice pulse bombs mixed in there as well. But ultimately, I think Podnova across both maps, really good pocket, really good peel. Never felt like he was getting caught or exposed in a situation that wasn't desperate anyway. So actually, really impressed by Podnova. And definitely player of the match. And congratulations to Celtas. That's actually a huge win for them. If we take a look at the scoreboard, if we have the technology, you can see... Well, not NA Open. If we see EMEA Masters, what we'll see is this is actually a super important win. It puts Celtas in a 4 and 5 situation rather than being in the sort of 3 and something club. And in this battle for 8th place, all of a sudden, Quick, Celtas, New Age, even Super Shy. I mean, technically even Tough Shells are in the mix, but Sovereigns and R8, it's an absolute dogfight for these final spots, right? So a super important win from Celtas. These games where these teams, we say it all the time, but these games where these teams are going to be playing each other are going to be so high stakes from now on in terms of like getting that top 8 because we're over the halfway stage. And we'll wait and see how it turns out. But yeah, thank you for joining me for this one.